for references, and like in the Fortune 500 world, I think they tout that they got whatever it is, 10 or 15% of Fortune 500. Fortune 100, customers. So they got like the IBMs of the world, the Citibanks of the world, the Verizons of the world, the FedExes of the world. They've got some pretty good name recognition in their customer base. So when you look step by step and start, if someone were to build a chart showing what they have and what they don't have, I describe these companies as they sort of all do the same thing, just they do them a little bit differently. But Dynamic Signal, to their credit, they've landed some very sort of well known household names, and certainly that helps to their credibility when people come knocking on the door and these companies are looking for these kind of solutions.
How sticky are these solutions? If a company has GuideSpark today and Dynamic Signal came knocking on the door, how painful of a conversation would it be if they talked about replacing it?
I find these kind of solutions, they have a high degree of stickiness because it's more than just, a handful of people in the HR department who are getting familiar with it and using it, but rather it's used by the whole organization. So in your example that you use, if a dynamic comes in and knocks on the door, they're not likely to, to change in that environment unless something truly stands out that is, above and beyond anything that anybody has provided before. But given the current state of these products, I don't see any huge differentiation in what they do. So I would say that there's a high degree of stickiness in these because you don't want to, it's less the cost of changing the product. It's the extraneous cost of education and training your whole staff that is really the bigger issue when you talk about these kind of solutions. Does that help answer your question on it?
Yeah. And remind me, you are helping other organizations evaluate these solutions and then possibly implement them as well?
Yeah. In Business Ways World, we actually we get consulted from an engineering and development viewpoint, and with a strong IT background, we actually come in and we're asked to, at least in the last couple of years. Prior to that, I had been CIO of Change Health, which is part of McKesson. I was CIO of Care Here Health. I was an SVP at Healthways for 10 plus years, all in the IT and systems architecture world. So I have a strong IT and systems focus for implementing these. And like I said in the very beginning, 27 plus years at the C-suite level.
Have you helped organizations in the last year implement GuideSpark or Dynamic Signal?
Yes, actually, in the last year, as I think I mentioned it earlier. Maybe you weren't on the call, sir. I'm sorry. Actually, GuideSpark and Dynamic Signal were evaluated and put in for two different customers within the last year. So we had one that actually selected.
Can you tell us more about those experiences? What was the kind of high-level business case that they were trying to solve? What was the evaluation process, and what was the implementation process like? Do you know if they're happy with the solution, et cetera?
Sure. So the overall functionality or sort of RFP criteria that was looking at, and I apologize if I'm repeating because I think I mentioned this in the very beginning, was that one sort of key selection criteria included encouraging sort of an effective and high-functioning team environment. So one, the ability to be able to communicate, to be able to do it in a variety of modalities, if you will, and that included text, email, intranet, et cetera. A platform that would encourage collaboration and brainstorming, a facility that would engage sort of remote and work from home, or basically a remote workforce. Obviously helping new employees, get up to speed, quickly and more efficiently. So those were the key criteria. We actually had two separate companies. We had gone through an analysis of 5 or 6 key ones. They included Beekeeper, Dynamic Signal, GuideSpark, Happy O